All right, thank you, Ashley, and welcome everyone for today's webinar, where we're going to take a look at the frame generator updates that have been included with the Inventor 2019.1 and 2019.2 updates that have come out since the 2019 release was available last April. As Ashley stated, if you have any questions as we're going, those can be answered there in the questions panel or in the chat panel, either or, and we will address those at the end of the presentation here as we go through. A quick cheat sheet to kind of let everyone know some of the highlights of the most recent Inventor new feature updates that have been available. On the left-hand side of the screen, we've got Inventor 2016 and 2017, 2018, and 2019. With the 2016 release, Autodesk started the mid-year releases, went away from the traditional service packs and hot fixes to these mid-year releases. And 2016 and 2017, there were R2s and R3s, and 2017 even had an R4. And the R4 for 2017 also introduced the AnyCAD for Inventor. And what that allowed you to do was, if you had the 2017 R4 installed, you could place a live reference of an Inventor 2018 model into an assembly. So you didn't have to export it from Inventor 2018 via STEP or an IGES or an SAT file and then import it. You could just place a live reference of an Inventor 2018 file directly inside Inventor 2017.4. It placed as a reference. If you received an updated reference from a coworker or a vendor, you could just right-click and update, and the model would update for you, and you'd have the latest and greatest version. 2018 come around, and we had a .1, a .2, and a .3 update, and that .3 update for 2018 included AnyCAD support for Inventor 2019 models, where you could do the same thing. If you had the 2018.3 installed, you could place a live reference of an Inventor 2019 file. And now 2019, the current release, we have a .1 and a .2 update as well. And that's what we're going to take a look at today, are the .1 and .2 updates regarding the frame generator environment. So if you're not familiar with how to access those updates, there are two ways that you can verify if you have the updates installed or not, and where you can download them and install them. And one is via the Autodesk desktop app. That is installed with any of the Autodesk softwares. It's loaded in the Start menu, the Autodesk folder, and it is titled the Autodesk Desktop App. And you can check for updates on demand, or they will show up as they are released on the little orange down, the white arrow, the orange box there is the update icon, and that will show you all of the updates that are available for your installed programs. And you can also locate the updates on the Autodesk Accounts website. Log in with your credentials, select the Inventor software. When the Inventor dialog pops up, select Updates and Add-ons, and there will be all of your updates that are available. You can filter that per release, or you can just scroll through until you see the one you need. Select Browser Download to download it, or Install Now to install it over the internet, and the updates will install. The only caveat is you do have to have Inventor closed so that the install can proceed. So Inventor 2019.1 and .2, what we're going to take a look at today are the new file naming defaults that we can modify, that we have control of. So previous releases we didn't have access to that. Now we do. We can also miter multiple members in one operation. We can notch multiple members in one operation as well. The insert command, when inserting frame members on your skeletal model or your shape that you're inserting frames, your reference model, automatically remembers the last used standard. So whatever library it was you've used last in this Inventor session, it's going to retain that information and have it ready to go. We now have shaded previews for inserting, changing, reusing, and the change and reuse commands. And also, we have sketch visibility automatically toggled on when using the change reuse command. So in the past, we'd have to turn the sketch on sketch visibility on no longer. If using that command, the reference sketch entity is automatically highlighted there for you in the background. And we also have window select when using the change member selection if you're going to change multiple members at one time. So the file naming defaults, this has been added inside the Inventor application options. Once inside the application options, it's on the File tab down in the lower left called File Naming Defaults. Select that button, and you have 4 areas that we can modify here. And one is for the frame assembly itself, one is for the skeleton part, one is for the frame members that we're going to be placing, and the other one is for the location of the frame. So if we want to put them all in the same location for easy access on the server or in the vault, for when adding the files to the vault, we can set it up in our workspace for a specific frame generator folder or frame folder and have everything go to that same folder every time. Or we can have it stay in the assembly level where the assembly folder where our assembly is saved and go inside there. Different options there, and we will take a look at those here shortly. Inside the MITRE dialog box, we now have the option to select multiple frame members, and you can do this by selecting them with the left click of the mouse, or you can drag a window around the members as well, and it will give you a preview of what it's going to MITRE, and you can control and deselect if you don't like what it's selected. Hit apply and it automatically applies those based off of the settings in the dialog box. Same thing for the notch command. You've got the single notch where you can do one entity at a time, or select the multiple member option, and then you can notch multiple members as we are going there. And as with most of the dialog boxes, pay attention to the arrows. The blue member is being cut around the yellow member, so, and that's by the arrows of what you've selected. So in this case, the long tube being the blue arrow, we're cutting around the yellow preview there, and the end result is what we would see here on the right. The change command, new selection there and editing behavior when using the change command. So in previous releases, you could not select or edit attributes of reused components like this. With the 2019.2, we can do that. So if we've reused some components, we can go in and change those now and change the orientation, change the offset. You can't change the member itself because it's being reused off of a parent reference, but we can change the offset value or the orientation as well. So in this case, we've got these 3 that are being utilized here. We can come in and we can rotate 2 of them to be vertical. We can change the offset and hit OK, and then the one stays the same as it was unaffected. The other 2 are impacted, so those 2 update automatically. All right, so let's jump over to the software now and take a look at some of these. And so we will start with a new part file here, and we'll just start from scratch and build us a small frame and take a look at these new updates that are available. So I'm going to start with a primitive. Hopefully everyone is aware of the primitives that have been in the software for a few releases now. If you are not, you can right click on the ribbon menu. In the part environment, select show panels, and the primitives is right here. Out of the box it is hidden, but you can turn that on. It becomes the second panel here on the 3D model tab. So I'm going to start with the box and select the plane that I want to sketch on. It's going to start the center point rectangle command for me, and we'll make this 28 high, 36 wide. Hit enter, and it will close the sketch, start the extrude command, select the box for me. I can drag this out, or I can just type in 36 and make this symmetrical about my center plane, and OK, and there's my box. And I'm going to go ahead and change the color of this one to clear so we can kind of see through it there to the back side. And while we're here, I'll go ahead and put a sketch on the top and create me 3 lines here for the members we will eventually notch. I'm going to go ahead and constrain these while I'm here. If you are not using the control and right click to access your constraints while you are sketching, if you use sketch constraints a lot, you're missing out. It is a very nice feature. Just to control and right click, it puts all of your sketch constraints right there at the cursor level as opposed to coming up to the ribbon menu to grab them. And we'll do this one more time here. We'll go equal. We'll set those two equal and those equal. And then we'll go ahead and tie these down. We'll make those 50 long, and we'll put a dimension between the two here. We'll say those are 18. We're fully constrained and ready to roll. All right, so we will copy our part. We'll go ahead and save it as, let's give it a name here, January 15th of 19. And we've copied it. Let's make sure we grab that. Come over to a new assembly now. We'll paste this in and we will start applying our frame members. So we'll just right click and paste, and then we'll save this and we'll give this the January 15th, 19 assembly name as well. So before I start inserting some members, let's go take a look at the file naming defaults. So we'll go to the application options and the file naming defaults here. And this is where we get to make this unique, or we get to customize it as fit with our entities here inside of the file naming defaults dialog box. So the frame member itself, and if you've worked with the frames in the past, you're familiar with the frame 001.iam and the skeleton 001.ipt. And those are the generator components that get created for editing purposes. So your frame goes into its own environment, so there's a frame assembly that is created. And if you're using a data management software where you're enforcing unique file names, you can't have frame 001 more than once. So that has been a pain in the past, and you can rename that. You can go into Vault and rename it. You can do it through Copy Design, do it through Windows Explorer. It's troublesome, but you can do it. But now we have the option to say, you know what, our frame, we can leave it named frame, or we can call it something else. We can give it a unique number. We can give it an index number, which is what it used to use, the 001. Or we can reset it, apply an assembly name there as well, and then a unique number. So if I wanted to call it the frame, or if I wanted to call it the assembly name and then the frame, and I could put in my assembly name and then the frame and then the unique number, and then we kind of see a preview of what it's going to be called here. So this is how it would be saved. So in this case, it would be the 01/15/19 frame and a unique number. And so I can go in, I can give this something specific. I can then give it an index number at the end of it, and you're like, well, that starts becoming cumbersome. It's too long of a name. It doesn't make any sense. I don't like it. Well, reset it. So the reset option is right there. It takes it right back to how it is once the .2 is installed. And same thing for the skeleton part. So we've got the assembly name. We can add a unique number, an index number. You can change this manually. You can come in and give it a project number you want right now and just type it in there. Just remember to change it the next time you would do it, but you have that option. But you can make any changes you want here with these and then reset it out if you would need to, back to the defaults, so you're not impacting everything. Or if you try it out and you don't like it, you don't remember what it looked like, didn't create a screenshot, you don't have to uninstall and reinstall the update. Just come in here and select any one of these and reset, and they're reset to how it was out of the box after the install was applied. So for the frame members themselves, they're the standard organization. That's the library we're using, the ANSI, the GOST, the JIS, any of those that we're using, and then the stock number, and then a unique number. So in this case, the example is the ANSI. It's a C3x3, and then a unique number, 1928-3746. Has nothing to do to relevance to my assembly name, which in the past it would have something to do with that. No longer. So I can throw in an index number, a family description, who manufactured it, the material, if I want to put the material in the name, as well as just the part number itself, the stock number, which is already being issued, that's the C3x3, or I can reset that if I've made any changes that I don't like it. And then as far as location for storage, we have the option now to supply a specific folder on the server or on our local workspace or on an external hard drive. Wherever we're putting these inside of our project file paths, as long as it's there, we're good. But we can come in here and tell it we want it to go to a specific assembly name and then this frame folder, or give it a specific, type in a specific URL there or UNC path, and it go right out to that path and save those files for us. And again, if you make a change, you don't like it, reset, and you're good to go. So we can adjust those, we can modify those, we can update those as we'd like. And then once we're ready to insert some members, we come over to the design tab, insert frame. It's going to remember the last standard that I used. And so in this case, it was the square cube. And so I can come in here and I can change my size. We'll say let's throw in a 4x4 right here. We can give it a material. We can give it the default color scheme. Supply specific color we want to. And we'll just select an edge here for reference. And notice based off my orientation where this one's going. I'm going to move it to where it's the top, and I'll square this up for us. So our orientation here, where we're going to put this part, and then I'll go ahead and select the back edge here and just get all four of the horizontal members. And so that's got them all four on the inside. If I want to grab my vertical members, I can go ahead and grab those here at the same time. And we'll throw those on there. Now, as long as the prompt for file name option is checked right here, I'm going to see that. This is the new frame that it was just creating, and so it's giving me that unique number, the skeleton, and that unique number, the file location. It's going to that assembly location where my assembly was stored, the 01_15_19. Then it's going to create that frame folder, put everything there. Display-wise, this is what appears in the model browser. So your display name, you can update this right here. As you select one on screen, it highlights there in the background as to which one is selected. You can update those, accept the defaults, type in where you want. It's also showing you where it's going to put these. If you wanted to change this, you could do this now. If you wanted to change some of these, or just select OK. And it goes out, and very quickly it will supply those members. So let me hide the visibility here of the skeleton file, or our reference part. And so we'll go in real quick, and just so we can see that everything is overlapping, we'll run a quick analysis, and we'll see that we do have analysis in all four of our corners here. So it's the vertical members going through the horizontal members and the horizontal members going across each other at the moment. So we're going to go back to our design here, and we've got some options here. And since everything, we get a preview on the majority of the commands we're using in the frame environment now, I'm going to go ahead and trim out the vertical members. So I'm going to trim using the bottom face of this one, and then I want to trim these four members. And notice as I select them, it automatically shows me the preview of where those members are going to be cut to. So I can tell I've got the right face selected. I didn't get the inside face of the tube. I got the outside face. I'll select OK right there. And then very quickly, I've got those trimmed out. So now, one of the new features with the 2019.2 is the miter option with the ability to miter multiple corners. So this is the one pair. So this only allows you to pick two members. I can't pick anything else. But if I want to go to the multiple members option, I can click, 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 select the ones I want, or I can drag a window around them if I want to do it that way. So I can come back in here and I can just drag a window around those members, and it automatically recognizes those four corners. I can supply an offset for the miter cut, or leave it at 0 and select OK right here. And then very quickly, I have my members cut right here. And we'll go in here and run this analysis again and see no interference is detected. So in two operations, we've got it all cleaned up without having to go back in and miter each corner individually. I can just miter all four corners at one time. So let's turn our visibility back on here of our skeleton reference model. And we'll go back to our design tab. We're going to insert again. And it's remembering the family and the size. We're going to go down to the 2x2 tube this time. And we'll go 2x2 by quarter. And we'll just put all three of those in right there. And again, the display name, the ANSI 2x2 by quarter. You can update these if you want this to be the first member and this one to be the second member and this one to be the third member. We can do that if we'd like, and then we see the space 1, space 2, space 3. That's just how they display over here. So now we've got those members in there, so we can come back and now we know we've got interferences. These are running through each other here. So maybe I don't like the location where those were at. So I can come in here and change, and I can say, you know what, I want to change this one, or I can drag a window and select all three. So you know what, I want it to come right here, or I want it to come up on this. And so we'll just change the orientation to where it's running from the middle of the line and up right there, and select OK. And we can move that to right there. And maybe, and we got to see that preview there, maybe we want to change one of these. Even though they were put in the same operation, we can do this. We can select that one. So you know what, let's rotate that one at 45 degrees. And so we can rotate that one right there. Excuse me. So now we're going to come in and notch these. And so we can notch a single member, or we can notch multiple members. And so we'll say we're going to notch multiple members, and we're going to notch these two horizontal members there of the frame itself. And then we're going to cut out this one, and this one, and this one. And then we kind of get to see that preview there in the background. So before we hit OK, we can zoom in and verify that that's what we want it to look like. We didn't select them backwards. We're not notching the wrong way. And then select OK. And then let it apply these three edits. And we'll come in here and drag a window around these and analyze interference again. And we've trimmed everything out. We've notched these members. And we are, so far, good to go there. So the change in reuse, if you haven't used that before, we'll go back into our skeleton model and add another member here. Actually, we've got it open in the background. We'll close that, and we'll just come into the model and edit it from the assembly itself. And we'll create us a line right there. We'll come around to the other side and put a sketch on here, and we'll create a different line. And we'll go back to our design, and now we will insert. And so we can insert this member right here, and we'll look at it and see that's on the inside. We can live with that, and we'll select apply right there. And again, there's our default 2x2 by quarter. And then if I want to reuse this member to this other side, I have this reuse command. And so what is my source member? And that is my source member right there. And what is my source reference? It's going to be over here to this line. And so I'll select OK. So now anything I do with this one would automatically update on that one. And so get to see those previews in place as they're going. Let me turn off the visibility of the sketch part there again. And we'll use this trim extend one more time. We're going to trim this member to right here. It's also going to trim this one on this side because we're reusing it. And then we'll trim this one right there. And if we go look at this one, we can see that on this end it was trimmed as well because it's just a live reference from the other side. So we've got the ability to reuse those. We get to see those previews as they're happening, and it makes our frame building life a little bit easier. All right, so one more time on where we can access these updates, and it's from the Autodesk Desktop app as well as the Autodesk Accounts page. So if you're doing it from the desktop app, you can just open the app and any of the updates will appear that are available. Like I've got one for 2018.3.4. If you want to check for updates, just right click on it in the hidden notification area and say check now, and it'll go out and it'll check for updates, and any updates that are available will start appearing right here in this area, and you can just hit update and it'll automatically apply those, or you can go out to the Autodesk Accounts page, log in with your credentials, and download the updates from there. So with that, we will turn it over to any questions that we may have based off what you've seen today, and see if there's anything in the questions panel. All right. Don't have any questions in there just yet. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to enter any if you have any. And while we are waiting on those to appear, we do have some upcoming Inventor training classes available. The Inventor new user classes are coming up January 23rd through 25th and February 18th through 20th. These are e-training online classes currently happening in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. We have an Inventor Advanced Part Modeling class in the Pacific Standard Time coming up January 30th through 31st, and in the Central Time Zone from February 11th and 12th, and then an Inventor Advanced Assembly Modeling class February 13th and 14th that is also in the Central Standard Time Zone. Now, in the new user class, sometimes depending on how much content we can get into, we do get into the frame generator environment. In the Inventor Advanced Assembly, we take a deep dive into the frame generator environment, if you were curious about those. And we also have the Inventor What's New classes. Those are currently not on our website. We do those based off request. So as we have requests come in for those training classes, we can schedule those at any time. They're typically half-day classes to cover the most previous two releases. So which, if we were doing a 2019 class, we would show all of the 2018 and 2019 updates that were included in the out-of-the-box releases, as well as the .1, .2, and .3 updates. All right, so I do see some questions coming in here. Let's see here. Can you modify the position or orientation of the reused part? Yes, you can modify the location, you can rotate it, you can supply it an offset. You just can't change the member size because it's referenced. And in the example we did there, it was the 2x2, so it's going to stay as a 2x2. Otherwise, we would have to remove it and add one back. Let's see here. We got some more coming in. We got a oops there. Frank is asking, can Inventor files be imported into Revit? Frank, I'm going to be honest, I am not a Revit user, so I am not certain of that. In older releases, like 2012 and back, I know we could export it via the Autodesk, the ADSK files. Those have been kind of outdated and removed. I can get you an answer for that. I do not have one today, but I will follow up with you. You've got your email address here from how you logged in. I will get you an answer for that. Are the classes free that I'm showing right there? No, David, they are not. You do have to register for those, and the pricing is available on our Hagerman.com website on the training there, but I can have someone follow up with you that as well. The file naming is currently, or the unique file naming for this case, the file naming defaults is only currently available for the frame generator environment. Yes, Michael, that is correct. Now, you can still go into the Content Center and copy your own files, your own standards into your own library and modify those, but the file naming defaults there inside the application options does only apply to the frame generator environment at this time. Let's see, we got some more coming in. Can you change the member type size of a single member that is part of a group miter or notch command? Yes, you can. You can go in and replace that using the change command. As long as it is a like shape, the miter will readjust. If it cannot, then it would kick up an error and allow you to accept it or edit it if you wanted to ignore it. But yes, it will, as long as it's a like shape. If I swapped one of those 4x4s out for a 2x2, it would still put the miter there in that same corner. All right, Sean asks, is it possible for the frame generator to recognize like parts? All parts of the frame are assigned unique part numbers when some parts are identical and could share part numbers. That is what the reuse option was put in for, is so you could reuse certain ones. They're still treated as individual components so that you can edit individual corners or apply in treatments on one without impacting the others. But if you know they're going to be the same, you can use that reuse option. When you get to the bill of material or the parts list side, you can have those grouped and rolled together. so it only counts it as one line item in the bill of material instead of two separate entities. So there's a couple of different options to play with it there. Well, I guess it also depends on what version of Inventor you are currently using, but yeah, there are some options there. So what is the preferred method to copy frame assemblies? So you have two that are similar but need a slightly different configuration. Personally, Vault Copy Design is great for that. If you're not using Vault, the Design Assistant would work there as well. Good to hear from you, Mark. Does iLogic play well with frame generator based assemblies? 2019, yes. It is getting a lot better and a lot more iLogic friendly as the frame generator API has been opened up somewhat to allow for iLogic logging and tracking inside 2019. So Pat has a question. Has trimming a member to a curved surface or rolled member been addressed? It has. It's still kind of quirky. It works in some areas, some others it does not work as well, depending on the how tight the curve is. I know that is something that has been in the developers' hands and has rolled through some of the testing on the beta phases. No idea when that might be rolled out. But yes, that is something that Autodesk has been addressing. They have been in the past 2 releases on the beta side, so hopefully we'll see that rolled out into a production release sometime soon. So let's go back over here to the software and address one of these. Let's delete this one here with the frame generator and go back to our top level. And let's reuse this guy over here and apply. I'm going to say the notch will not carry over because this one did not, but let's find out. Let's get this one out of the way. Yes, so reusing it, if there's a notch applied on one end, does not impact the other end. So John has a question, where do I find help if the updates do not load? You can reach out to our service department, service at hagerman.com. Just an email to those guys, and we should be able to help you with those updates if they are not downloading or installing properly. It could be a permissions issue, could be a firewall issues, but we should be able to help you out with that. So on the trim to frame, Robert's asking here, what do the blue and yellow colors represent? So the blue is what you're keeping, the yellow is the one you are trimming. So in this case here, if I select the member that's extending my frame as the one I want to keep, and then I select this horizontal member here, that's one of my supports, then it's going to trim that one. So if I say I want to keep this one and then trim this one, then it's going to, did that backwards again. One more time. Still trimming it the shortest distance. So it's trimming the shortest distance there. Unless we give it an offset and tell it the offset we want to keep for the trimming or the vertical offset we want to keep on the other side for the trimming. Let's see here, if we go to the we can rename the browser nodes to always be the part number and hit apply, and then whatever our file name is saved as or our part number, then the browser would automatically recommend that. That is from the productivity panel, the pull down here, rename browser nodes, and the new name, we want it to be the file name, then it's going to be the actual file name itself, or if we want it to be the part number or the default, or it's the display name. But yeah, if you want it to be the part number or the file name, you can come in and make sure that it's displaying out as the file name itself. So yeah, you can do that. That's not a 2019 feature. That's been there for a few releases. It's on the Assemble tab, the Productivity panel. It's just in the pull down here. It's called Rename Browser Nodes. All right, and I think that has answered the questions there. Oh, there's one more there. If a group of notches was made with a single command, can you remove, edit them individual members, or do you lose the whole set? You can edit the members individually. You can't edit the notch individually because it was placed as a group there, so it's a one instance as it is placing those. Let's see, any other ones? I don't see any other ones coming in. All right, I think that is all of our questions, Miss Ashley.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Thanks, everyone, for attending. This will conclude our broadcast. If you think of additional questions later, you can simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email you received from GoToWebinar. We can get those to Mark or your sales rep or whoever to get your questions answered. Once again, if you could take a few moments to answer the short survey, we would appreciate it. It will just pop up as we close down today. And thanks for attending, and have a great day, everybody.